Calvin Riley Sr. was pulled over in Tallahassee, Florida for speeding and driving without his headlights on.
I can't really smell anything right now. So I smelled marijuana in your vehicle. Did you recently smell?
She said to her partner earlier in the car that I don't smell anything.
I only must smoke. You're a silly person.
Yeah?
Yeah, I heard it crack.
He had a bunch of alcohol stash in there, but
Nothing open or anything?
yeah, open.
You know, that's sort of, falsifying evidence, right?
I ain't doing nothing till I talk to a lawyer. You got your cam on? I ain't doing nothing till I talk to a lawyer.
All right, guys, we're back with another video from Law and Crime. We've got Jim here in his Sunday best and me looking like I just got off the golf course. Maybe I did. And we're going to watch a video that we've never seen before. It's from Law and Crime. We'll give our comments and you do the same in the comments.
Calvin Riley Sr. was pulled over in Tallahassee, Florida for speeding and driving without his headlights on. Body camera video shows the responding officer, Kirsten Oliver, approach his window.
Hello, sir. I'm Officer Oliver with Tallahassee Police Department. Do you have your driver's license, registration, insurance?
Pro tip, have that stuff ready.
This is the reason why you slowed me down.
Yes, sir. So you don't have any headlights on and you're going really fast down Monroe Street.
Headlight, my headlights automatically on when I'm driving.
They're not on right now.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
My name is Calvin Riley Sr.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you get that for me?
I can't find it right now.
Where's your wallet at?
I don't really carry a wallet.
You don't carry a wallet at all? Where do you carry your money at?
Bank.
The bank? Okay. How do you pay for
Your credit card's at. All right, I'm purposely pausing this very early into it. What's your initial impressions? Anything jump out or not really?
No, I mean, I feel like if I was the officer, I'd be wondering why he doesn't have a wallet or his licenses and insurances. I mean, that's really it,
Yeah, I would add, I've heard officers say multiple times that headlights is a decent indicator. Let me say it a different way. When they pull someone over without headlights on, they're thinking DUI. They are. I've heard officers say that before. Whether it's true or not, but less aware of your surroundings. Maybe it came out of a dark bar and your eyes, really haven't adjusted. It's just one of those things. I'm not really sure if it's based in fact or not, but I think it's definitely things that officers are kind of thinking. This guy is a little slow and lethargic, if you ask me. By no means am I saying he's under the influence or anything, but if you're this officer, I get it. You might be sort of diving in, asking a few more questions, trying to figure it out. So yeah, we'll see where this goes.
on your phone? Okay, I gotcha. No problem. I'll write down your information. You said Calvin Riley. I can take that. Perfect. Senior?
Yes.
What's your date of birth, sir?
April 3rd, 1968.
Okay, April 3rd, 1968. Okay.
When another officer arrives on the scene, Officer Oliver discusses the stop and Riley's driving. They also determine his license has been suspended.
I feel like I'm getting some indications, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't really smell anything right now. Do you think you can just talk to him? He's like looking everywhere for his ID, and he's like looking up here and pulling out papers and like looking around and everything. He says he doesn't carry a wallet. I said, how do you have money? He goes, the bank. And I said, okay, well, he's just not making a lot of sense. Yeah. He didn't have lights on. He's flying down Monroe Street. And when I went to pull him over, he like started to get over and then came back over and then like is kind of like hovering and then stopped.
I mean, yeah, the driving, crossing lanes obviously could be a sign of impairment. If there's a police report written up on this, I promise you that police report says that he was fumbling and confused when looking for his documentation.
Right, they're building that case for the DUI right now. You can already hear this officer. She's putting together the factors for the probable cause to pull him over. and now she's building it. She says, I didn't smell the odor, but can you go check for this odor of alcohol? These officers, same thing in the state of Illinois, they know how to build these DUI cases out.
Right.
So she's going through that mental checklist right now, and you can tell. So
Yep. And this is where this is where the body worn camera is so nice. At this point, she doesn't smell anything. They're having a second officer just go talk to him. There's some legal. I don't know if we need to get fully into him yet because I don't even know where this video is going. But you can. An attorney could start at this point start to argue that they're unnecessarily prolonging the stop. They should give him his tickets and go. Possibly. The other side of that coin now is he's driving on a suspended license.
Right.
That's a bigger deal. That's a reason to prolong the stop, pull him out of the car, even arrest him. I think in Florida because that's probably a criminal offense. It certainly is here in Illinois, and that in and of itself is a basis for arrest. But it's sort of the picture I'm trying to paint here is sort of these two competing ideologies, right? Give the guy his ticket and let him go versus, should I keep digging into this further, right? And that's very much up in the air right now.
So he's got suspended. It's Calvin Riley. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask him. That's why he doesn't have a driver's license, because he knows it's suspended. So
That could also be why he's acting.
when you go up there, can you ask him if he still lives on Brevard Street?
Yeah, I'll do that. Hi there. I'm Officer News. I'm not the officer who stopped you. The officer that stopped you wants to know if you still live over off the Brevard Street. It's a family house. Okay, so do you still live there?
So they're confirming they got the right guy.
Okay. But that's where you lay your head to sleep at night. Okay. Where are you coming from tonight?
that's a classic question.
The north side? Where were you at? Pockets? Did you have anything to drink while you were at Pockets? Couple of years?
Got an admission.
I mean, they're doing what every officer does,
Yeah.
and I'm not excusing it by any means,
Yeah.
but that's such a common line of questioning. Where are you coming from? That answer opens. You say, my buddy's house. Oh, what were you doing there?
Right.
How much did you have to drink?
Right.
Oh, I'm coming from a work function. Oh, where was it?
Right.
What did you have to drink?
Where's that at?
Right. I mean, so many of these questions, they seem innocent, but they can really trip people up. And look how fast she walked him into an admission
Mm-hmm.
that he had, a few. And
Yeah,
right
exactly.
there.
But now that's great.
Right.
I think you're exactly right. And now that tension that I said, should just give him his tickets and let him be on his way, or should they keep going further? That's now very much grounded now in they can keep going further.
Oh, yeah.
They
This
have an
is solidly the DUI investigation territory.
Yes,
now.
he just made an admission. If it wasn't already because of this sort of suspended license thing, I think they had a legal basis to keep going further, simply in the fact that he's driving illegally. But yeah, now very clearly, this to this point is gonna hold up. They've got a good foundation.
yeah.
Hey Calvin, really quick, can you do me a favor and just shut off your car and set the keys on the dash for me?
Welcome to the field of sobriety.
Thank you, sir. So I want to go more into the beers that you said you had. Yeah. Would you be willing to do some voluntary field sobriety exercises?
Not really.
No?
I had 2 beers, and that's what it is.
Okay. Here, go ahead and step out of the vehicle for us.
Should he do the field sobriety tests?
So my own personal opinion is no.
Right.
What I would tell friends and family is just no. Even if you're not intoxicated, just because, these aren't, sure, they say they're science. I don't buy into the science behind a lot of this. So what I tell people is just no.
Right.
Don't even bother, because they're kind of designed to make you look like a fool.
Mhm.
I'm stone cold sober. I don't know if I could do
Right.
9 heel to toe steps there and back.
Right. Yep. And then go further upstream, right? Rewind it back a little further. Did he have to sort of make all those statements about I'm coming from here? I only had 2 beers.
No.
No, he could have just said. there's a million different ways to say this. I love you guys. You always comment like, just memorize this and say this, right? The answer is you can just simply say, I'm not going to answer any questions. That's an easy way. But there's some more clever ways to do it. But every right in the world to not answer those questions. He has to identify himself, produce the ID, if he has it, but then doesn't have to do much more after that.
Just go ahead and face the corner of the car for us. Your license is suspended, so we're gonna.
Okay, no problem.
Smart of the officer to identify the reason for this arrest. The reason I say that there's obviously some sort of rights and protections that trigger when you're placed under arrest. You're under arrest without a doubt when you're in handcuffs there. And I think she said you're under arrest. It was smart of the officer to identify that, like, at this time it's, I guess she didn't say all this, but she's saying it's not because of the DUI, it's because of the suspension. But that doesn't prevent her then from continuing to develop that DUI investigation.
Absolutely.
She's kind of got all the time in the world now to do that, since she can take them back to the station, book them, fingerprint them, all that. She can also simultaneously work up this DUI investigation.
Oh, absolutely.
So I smelled marijuana in your vehicle. Did you recently smell?
No, let me tell you something, man.
Stand right here.
Let me tell you something.
Stand
I
right
don't know. You heard what she just said. She smelled marijuana, right?
Yeah.
I don't even smoke. So
Okay.
what? But you
So I smell marijuana. She said to her partner earlier in the car that I don't smell anything. I mean,
Right.
she's kind of referencing alcohol then, right? But this is, we did that Taven video, the one that got, I don't know, 2 million views or something, in a situation where it started off as a DUI arrest. He admitted out this, just like this one, but he admitted alcohol here. Everything's alcohol. Then he shuts down, stops giving them information. I'm not going to do the field sobriety test. And now the officer switches to marijuana. Maybe, it's totally plausible. And it is certainly going to be in this report that once they got him out of the car, there's a strong odor emanating from the driver of burnt cannabis, right? That's what it's going to say.
And I love how they, in my experience, they parse it out so much. They say, oh, the odor of alcohol was coming from the car. The odor of marijuana, of burnt cannabis was coming from the person.
Yep.
And they have a lot of sort of semantic tricks to change the wording of things. And it gets accepted in courts.
Oh, yeah.
It really does.
Not without a fight, usually, right? But yeah, it's because it's plausible. Like, you could be like, I got him in a car based on his own admissions. You could just see the escalation. I've often described the DUI as a series of escalations. A traffic stop, to a couple questions, an officer's suspicion, what something's going on here. I'm not just going to give this person a ticket and go, right? To a couple admissions, to getting out of the car, to probable cause for an arrest, right? It's just a series of stair steps, right? That lead to, in the most extreme, staircase, to a DUI conviction in court, right? Or oftentimes it can stop somewhere short of there. I think there's more that needs to be done here for the officer to really button it up. It seems like, again, strategy-wise, this guy's in handcuffs. He's in the back of a police car. That is when I see people get angry, frustrated, and shut down. And that's probably the right thing. It was maybe perhaps a little too late to shut down. We probably should have shut down earlier and stopped answering questions and stuff. But now I think it's going to be really hard for an officer to get more out of a breathalyzer, cannabis admissions, field sobriety tests, drug cannabis-based field sobriety tests. It's harder to get that out of him now because the guy's like, screw it, man. I'm already arrested and in handcuffs. And I don't like you guys. I don't trust you guys. You're not doing me any favors. And officers know that. And that's why I was kind of surprised to see her put the handcuffs on him so quick.
You come with that. That's little flow.
Okay.
This
Do
right
you
here.
have a medical marijuana card?
No, I don't smoke nothing.
Have you recently smoked him?
I don't smoke nothing.
Okay.
So you find that bullshit? That's my money right there for my job.
I got you.
So
I'm
let
not
me
paying
tell
no
you
rent.
something. You see my back of my shirt?
Worried about that money disappearing.
I'm a baller. You understand what I'm saying? So what you're saying is you smell marijuana. You're alive. So I want to show you something.
Go ahead and unlock the car. Or you can go.
That's cool.
All right, go ahead and sit down in my car for me, okay?
You got me lost in my money?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Since you smell marijuana,
Yeah, go ahead and sit down.
what's your name?
Officer Oliver, go ahead and sit down for me. Calvin, sit down for us.
I will. Since you say you smell marijuana.
Sit down,
But
please.
that's the reason you stopped me? Or you
It's
stopped me
not the
because
reason I stopped
my
you. For your
light is
lights.
off?
Yes, sir, and
Okay.
you're speeding.
But I wasn't speeding.
Yes.
I got a track on my shit.
Okay,
And you smell marijuana.
just watch your foot, okay? Wow, he reeks of alcohol.
Up next, both officers
Whoa.
head back to Riley's car.
I mean, I don't know. My impression of it is, I mean, he was honest about having a couple drinks, right? But he was he was the exact opposite of that. He was pissed when they mentioned marijuana.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My tendency is to, just not, I don't know, I'm not there, right? And neither is a judge, right? Neither is a jury. We can't smell that stuff here on video. But my tendency is to believe, based on his, honest, somewhat honest answers in terms of consuming alcohol, I think I think the marijuana part's a lie.
Me too.
Just and how quickly she pulled it out when she placed him under arrest, and then now bounces back to the alcohol and doesn't mention an odor of cannabis outside his presence. So, yeah, there's some issues here.
To search inside.
I don't know. It smells very strong.
What?
This is cologne right here, though. It's like sprayed it like right before. Nothing in there. Smell this. It smells like alcohol. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Hey, there's vodka in his seat, like right here in a pouch in his seat. Vodka was found in this pouch in his seat.
Next, the video captures Officer Oliver open up the vodka bottle and pour it out in the street. You can hear the lid twist off, and it sounds like it's the first time it's been opened.
Yeah, it looked full
Yeah,
when she
that-
pulled it out. So
why is that significant, though?
well, I mean, if he's they're trying to pin this on him that he's been drinking and driving,
Right.
But if it's never been opened, then he
Yeah.
hasn't been drinking it.
Right,
And I mean,
then-
it's not illegal to transport a sealed bottle of alcohol
Exactly.
at all.
Right. Yep. So makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it crack. And it's interesting too, because in my experience in court, a lot of the times a judge will say, to the officer, can you produce the bottle of alcohol that you found? Or they never can.
No.
Or did you test it?
Right.
Which is always an interesting question to me. I do find it odd though that she poured this out instead of inventoried it. I've
Well-
seen it when it's been open and they just pour the rest out.
And,
But
and if it was already a crack top, maybe she wouldn't have poured it all out.
Exactly.
I don't know.
interesting point, yeah.
Yeah, but whether or not she, and I don't know. You think that's a honest mistake? Like, didn't think of it, just kind of like, oh, it's alcohol, cracked it open. I mean, it could be in light most favorable to this officer. It could be an oversight.
I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
In practice, I've definitely seen it where they take, but normally 9 out of 10 times that bottle's been open.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And they're just
Right.
whatever little bit is in it. This is odd because when she first pulled that out from the seat, I was like, wow, it doesn't look like he drank anything from that. So
But this issue does come up a
Yeah.
pretty good amount. I had a felony DUI. We had a felony DUI not too long ago where there was like 4 cases of beer in the car. And my Illinois State Trooper was jumping up and down on the witness stand like, it's got 4 cases of beer in the car. Of course he's, drunk. And my guy testifies that no, those were gifts from his work, from a recent Christmas party. And, they were in the car. Sure, he didn't deny that, but they were totally, sealed up just like you would get them from the liquor store or the grocery store, right?
right.
So it makes a big difference. And then we keyed in an officer, and he's open. He's, well, I'm not sure. Like that makes a big difference here.
It does, yeah.
So, so these things do come up. I've had clients where there's not video or it's not on video, where the client's like, I just left the liquor store I got pulled over coming out of the liquor store.
Yeah.
That thing was sealed. The bottle was never opened. And, the officer doesn't just, you don't see it all on video, right? But it's like, officer, like, open the alcohol container. Something's fishy here. So this issue does come up a fair amount.
Officer Oliver later explained all this during a deposition.
An open liquor bottle found inside the car within reach of the driver would be big evidence for a DUI, right?
Correct.
And you told Officer Muth that the bottle was open?
I don't remember my exact phrasing, but I know
recent,
that
a month
from
ago.
seeing her report, she said it was opened.
And she would only know that from you?
Correct.
And like you said, she put that in her report.
Correct.
Because the emptied bottle was evidence of DUI.
Can you say that again?
So the empty bottle, that was evidence of DUI at this point, correct?
Correct.
But the contents would really be the evidence of the DUI?
Could be, correct.
But you dumped it out,
Correct.
despite it being evidence?
Correct.
Where's the protocol that told you to unseal a liquor bottle and dump it out?
Good line of question.
Yeah.
I'm unable to impound liquids into our police department property and evidence.
I find that
And at
hard
that
to believe,
time-
though, because I've had so many DUIs where they do. I mean, they just put it in the evidence lockup. I mean,
Yeah.
you see it with drug cases all the time, right? You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I've seen it where they impound that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some policy where they don't impound liquids, but that seems kind of,
Yeah. Right.
fishy to me.
Yeah, right. If this was like a bombing, like, right? Like with like a liquid bottle, like they would definitely,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
have a different protocol for that. I don't know. I'm just taking it to the extreme example. I don't think it's as clear black and white. Like, nope, you can never do it. It's liquid.
Yeah.
I got to pour it out. I don't know if it's as clear cut of a policy.
I mean,
She's
it's
making it seem
interesting
here.
though, because what are people supposed to do? I mean, I think that he should have the right to have that liquor bottle wherever he wants in his car. Maybe right there in the seat, not the brightest, but I mean, it's his right as a citizen. I put my stuff in the trunk because I'm paranoid, and that's where if I'm transporting anything like that I know could jam me up, it's going in the trunk.
Hear that, balloon? Check his trunk.
Yeah, don't ever check my trunk. But I mean, right there. I don't know. I feel bad for this guy. I think that them using that, and she admitted they used it in the course of this DUI investigation. That's kind of sketchy.
Right. So yeah, I think there's two sort of levels of thinking here. One of his, he has the right to sort of confront his accuser and see that evidence it's going to be used against him, which is that bottle. But I would say number two is that bottle in its original state, not the severely tampered state that the officer,
It's not evidence
changed.
of a crime.
Right.
No,
No, it's
not at that.
right.
No.
So, the right line. This deposition, I believe, is more in regards to the drivers. I think I don't know Florida, but I think it's more in regards to like should his license be suspended or not. I think, but either way, it's a good line of questioning, and I'm sure this deposition can be used both on the driver's license suspension and if needed on the criminal aspect of it.
I believed I was going to be impounding it, so I dumped it out.
Back to the scene, the other officer attempts to read Riley his rights.
Hey, really quick, I want to ask you more questions about your drinking, okay? But before I do that, I'm going to read you your rights, okay?
That's the right thing to do.
You can read whatever you want to read me, ma'am, but I'm going to tell you like this right here.
Okay.
When you stopped me, you said because my light was off.
I'm not the one who stopped you.
No. I'm telling you what you said.
Okay.
And then the other person said she smelled marijuana. I don't even smoke.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? But it's okay. I don't want to do what you want to do, and that's what.
Because these are voluntary statements.
Right,
now,
right.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, I hate to say this because I understand to a degree where he's coming from. Because I'd be frustrated too. You're traveling, the police stop you. Like, just give me the citation and let me go on my way.
Right.
But at the same time, and I know I sound like a broken record, but this is not the place to litigate.
No, it's
Never on the street, because they twist this
Sure.
stuff
Yep.
all the time against people.
Yeah, and this is all admissible, whatever he's
Yep.
saying here. So I'm gonna go through what he's saying here.
Because my light was off.
I'm not the one who stopped
No,
you.
no. I'm telling you what you said.
Okay.
And then the other person said she smelled marijuana. I don't even smoke.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? But it's okay. I don't want to do what you want to do, and that's gonna go. It's gonna go that way.
Did somebody else smoke in your car earlier? Was
Nobody
anybody else
went
in
in
your
my
car?
car. I ride alone,
Okay.
and she can do whatever she want to do, and all that right there. But that she said about me smoking marijuana, that's beside the point.
Hey Calvin, really quick, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can all be used against you in a court of law.
You say you smell marijuana,
Hey.
you're a silly person.
Hey Calvin.
You're a silly person. 'Cause I don't even
Calvin.
smoke. I don't even smoke. You're a silly person. You use that same technological that they used in the old days. You don't smell no marijuana on me. You're a liar.
Hey Calvin.
You ain't smell no marijuana. You're a liar.
Calvin.
You're a liar. You don't even believe on police officer. You're a liar.
Because we're not
You use that
acknowledging
for
your
an
end of.
excuse. You use that for an excuse to do what you want to do, to search. You ain't search shit because you know what? You ain't got nothing.
Hey.
Because I don't smoke
Calvin.
weed. I don't do no drugs.
Calvin.
You're a liar.
Calvin.
You say you smell marijuana. Why you record that? I don't give a fuck about my phone. Give me my phone and me call my lady. So she can come, that's right.
No,
Because you're a
not
liar.
right now. Not right
You're a liar. You say you smell marijuana, you're a liar.
Calvin, I have to ask
She said she stopped me because my light was. I understand that.
Calvin, I
And
have
she
to
asked me where I
ask
was
you
going.
a
I
question,
told her where I was
okay?
going to my property down the road.
I'm now
But
requesting
you
that you
said-
submit to a lawful test of your
Yeah.
breath.
All right, he can be both right and very wrong at the same time. Like I said earlier, before this whole sort of outburst, if you will, I believe him. That's why he's so mad. So I believe him, and I think the officers are either mistaken at best, or fabricating, sort of that marijuana issue at worst. But he can still be, even though I believe him and he's right about that, and I think the officers are probably lying about the cannabis. He's still not helping himself at all, because there's a bigger picture. There's the alcohol thing, right? And this report, I've not seen it. I'm not going to see it. But I promise you, it says like that, this outburst is going to be used as a sign of impairment, right?
Exactly.
Poor, aggressive, mood swings. Stuff that's going to be written in there.
I mean, on the alcohol influence report that a lot of police departments have, they have those questions. It says, subjects, demeanor or
Yes.
something like that. It could be combative or talkative or crying, or that he was even like belching.
Yep.
Like all of these things, a judge or a jury is going to see. So that's why I know I've said in other videos, when dealing with police officers, it's just better to say as little as possible.
Yep, and especially in this case, it's because he will be in court. He's already arrested, right? Before you're arrested, the feeling's like, I can still talk my way out of this, right? And people hate it in these videos when we say, like, he's not even arrested yet. And we say, we do it in court, and you're like, he's not even arrested yet, right? I don't want to have to go to court. That's expensive. Well, here he is going to court, right?
Right.
So that argument of just shut up and argue in court is even stronger in this case, because he knows he'll be in court. But there's two conflicting lines of thinking here, and we'll see it in the comments. And I usually don't respond because I get where you're coming from on both. But one of them is like, this man, should stand up for himself against these officers, and God bless him for standing up for himself. He's a man. He's only got one life. This is, if you're not going to stand up for yourself, who will, right? I get that logically. And then there's the other line of argument, which is like the more strategic line of argument, in my opinion, which is don't give them evidence against you and go win your court case. and whatever, do whatever you want. But repeatedly, you see attorneys, whether it's, you know, your uncle or your neighbor or just some goofy guys on the internet telling you, stop, don't make these statements. Resist the urge to stand up for yourself here, because yeah, he's not. He may be helping himself with you know, alleviate himself from sort of the cannabis suspicion, but he's not helping himself on the alcohol-based DUI.
Oh no.
That's for the
I
purpose of
ain't
determining its
gonna listen
alcohol
to
content.
nothing.
Will you
No,
take the
no,
test?
you going from 1 to 2 to 3.
Will you
I
take
ain't
the
doing
test?
nothing. I ain't doing nothing till I
This is
speak
for-
to a lawyer.
this is for
I ain't
DUI.
doing nothing
Okay.
till I talk to a lawyer.
If you refuse the test,
I ain't
have
doing nothing
requested-
till I talk to
I
a
have
lawyer.
to read this
I
to
ain't
you,
doing nothing till I
okay?
talk to a
I have
lawyer.
to read this
I
to
ain't
you.
doing nothing till I talk to
If
a
you
lawyer.
refuse
You
to
got
take
your
a
cam
test, I
on?
have requested
I ain't
of you
doing nothing till
your
I
driving
talk to a lawyer.
During all this, another officer arrives on the scene.
Good, man. I'm Sergeant Smith with TPD.
I appreciate that, Sergeant.
Okay, here's the deal, man. I gotta take you from this car, and we gotta put you in that one, okay?
Hey, it's like this.
Are
It's
you-
okay.
Okay. Are you gonna cooperate? We're not gonna have any issues, right?
Hey, ain't nothing about cooperating. It's like this.
You'll be okay?
Hey, I'm talking to you right now.
Yes,
right?
sir.
I ain't got no problem being okay.
Okay.
I got a problem with what happened earlier.
Yes, sir.
It's lies. But I'm gonna tell you like this right here. I ain't got no problem
Okay.
cooperating.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You ran my name. You know my record. It's all good. But it's like this right here.
There's
I
that
ain't
mood
did
swing.
nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
But I'm
At
gonna tell
least
you like this.
it
Yes,
could
sir.
be presented as such
Improper. is
by a
improper.
prosecutor.
Okay. Well, you know you'll be afforded the opportunity
okay,
when
it's
they
okay.
listen to me. You'll be afforded the
You got my
opportunity.
phone, ma'am, still?
You'll be afforded the opportunity when you get to jail
Can you get
to provide a breath sample. You understand that, right?
Okay.
You know you can provide a breath sample if all this is a big
I
misunderstanding,
ain't
right?
worrying about
See, and I love is such a loose word, but that is such a common tactic. Well, you could clear all this up with a breath
Right,
sample. You
exactly.
could clear it all up with the field sobriety
Not
test.
the cannabis. You
No.
can't. Now with the breast sample, you can't.
No,
So, yeah.
no.
Right.
I've been here all my life. Tallahassee bound. I'm 55 years old. I'm about half your age. Get it right.
Twice your age.
Yeah.
We got
Hey.
a 110-year-old officer.
I'm sorry to disturb you. I'm right here by the fire station up from Adams Street off of Orange Avenue. The police stopped me, and I ain't gonna go into details why they stopped me, but they for to take me to jail because of 2 or 3 circumstances. But at the same time, the main circumstance, which I ain't gonna relate right now,
Yeah.
just called the jailhouse and then find out what's what and then come get me.
That is
And we'll go
perfect.
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah. Don't like try to again. Don't litigate it to
Right.
the third party on the phone. Like all this,
Right.
all these are all statements post Miranda that he's choosing to make. He chose to make the phone call. So that could. I mean, he didn't give anything up there, but that could have been evidence.
Okay, I just have to
No,
read
I'm
this
through
to you.
talking. You don't gotta read nothing. I'm through
Will you
talking.
just listen to
I'm
me,
through
please?
talking, ma'am. I'm through talking.
Okay,
I am through talking.
I have to read this
No,
to you.
you can't
I'm
read
not
nothing to me.
requesting that you
I don't
submit
want
a
to say
lawful test of
nothing.
your
I
breath
don't
for the
want to
purpose
say
of
nothing
determining
to you.
alcohol content.
I don't want to say nothing to you because
Will
you're
you
switching
take the
up
test?
three different scenarios that y'all went through since y'all stopped me. I don't want to talk to you about
Okay,
nothing.
because you haven't
Nothing.
said yes.
I want to talk to my lawyer. I want to talk to you about nothing.
going to
I don't
read
want.
your
You don't need to read
Hey,
me up.
you
Close
just
the
have
door,
to
sir.
you just have to listen. You don't
Close
have
the
to.
door, sir.
Okay, you just
I'm
gotta
asking
listen.
you, please
I'm
close the
going to
door.
read
These are the disclosures that the officer is required to read as it relates to whether or not he chooses to engage in those in tests. It's kind of going to vary from state to state, but standard field sobriety tests, breathalyzers, drug tests, whatever. You get the idea, right? The officer has to sort of disclose what happens if you do them and what may happen if you don't, if you refuse to do them. That's what the officer's doing. Different versions, but the same idea in every state. And at least here in Illinois, if you do what he's doing, which is just overtalk them, don't let them do it, it just goes down as a refusal, right? Like, and so the officer's not required to read them. I mean, the officer's required to read them. The officer's not required to
Do you understand?
duct tape his mouth.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
tell
yeah.
me do you get an actual confirmation that you understand it? Unlike Miranda, right? Like, did you actually understand it? The officer's, it's sort of a formality. You got to read it. Most of the time people sit there and like, okay, I get it. But you know,
Believe it, I mean, here in the state of Illinois too, those what we call warnings to motorists, they don't even have to be read in your native language.
great point.
I
You're
mean,
right.
if your native language is Polish, they can just read it to you in English,
Right.
and you just have to sit there.
Right,
And I
right,
mean,
right.
well, I read it, or I mean, even if you're unconscious,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Yep.
a little wild, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is here in the state of Illinois, and it's also important to have an attorney to look at how they read you your warning motorist. Did they read you everything right? Because that has a lot of bearing
Mm-hmm.
on if your license is going to be suspended.
Yep.
And that's something that, you know, we do on a near daily basis
Oh,
here. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Did they skip over? Yes. Like you said, you know, did they read it? At what point did they read it? Did they skip over parts? Did they summarize it? Did they
Oh,
summarize
that.
it correctly? We've seen
Oh,
that.
yeah.
They summarize it totally ass backwards. And all of those things are reasons that we have, without a doubt, argued and even won as it relates to sort of that informed consent and the effect upon your driver's license based off these warnings.
Cause you trying to sugarcoat it. Look, no, there ain't no previous nothing. I am telling you this. I don't want to talk to you about nothing, because what you said to me, miss, that you stopped me because your lights was off. And then she said she stopped me because she smelled weed. So therefore, y'all both are liars. I don't want to talk to now one of y'all. I don't care about none of that. You can say whatever you want to say. I don't understand none of what you're saying. I don't want to acknowledge none of what you're saying. I am coherent to what you're saying. I have no knowledge of what you're saying. And you, miss, are a liar. Because I don't smoke, I don't do no drugs. And what you said that you stopped me because you smell weed. My name is Calvin A. Riley Sr. I'm born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida. No, don't close the door yet. No, because you want to close the door now. I'm born and raised Leon County, Tallahassee, Florida. I'm 55 years old, and you are a liar.
Yeah. Did y'all search the car?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing in there?
Well, okay, so he had a bunch of alcohol stashing there, but
Yeah, nothing open or anything?
yeah, open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, in his like Tervis in the center console, he had a mixed drink, and then under his knee he had a like little bottle of vodka tucked away.
Oh, so he
And he said he was coming from Pockets, and he had drinks at Pockets. So, but anytime I try to ask him anything about it, he gets like this.
What was he saying about the weed?
He's mad because Oliver smelled weed when she first walked up to the car.
Oh, she didn't.
And he said he doesn't smoke marijuana and he doesn't smoke hemp, so he's mad that he searched the car.
I'm still alive. Any evidence of that?
Marijuana?
Yeah.
Riley was charged with DUI and driving on a suspended license. When he went to trial this month, that latter charge was dropped during the second day of trial, but the same day, Riley was found guilty of the DUI. He was sentenced to 10 days in jail and 6 months of probation.
Are you surprised to see he got convicted of the DUI, found guilty of the DUI?
Honestly, no.
No, me neither.
No. I mean, in most counties here in Illinois, that would have been a DUI, conviction as well. I mean, just the judge or the jury, they're looking at the totality of the circumstances. And as a former prosecutor, wow, did I see a lot to go on.
Yeah,
I would have done the same thing as a as a prosecutor, painted the mood swings like we talked about. Even if
poor drive,
poor driving,
admissions,
refusals,
consciousness of guilt.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a lot to add up there. I think what's interesting is that bottle of alleged vodka.
Yeah. So I wasn't like, oh, shocked he got found guilty of this DUI for the exact reasons that you laid out. I also think that there were some real mistakes by the officer here, and it's not crazy to think that, in some jurisdictions, depends on the judge or jury or his background, whatever. It's also not crazy to think that he could have been found not guilty of that DUI.
No.
And here's the one thing I am absolutely sure of is that Calvin here could have managed that situation to a point where a not guilty was a foregone conclusion, like a slam dunk not guilty. How would he have done that? By not admitting, not admitting to the alcohol consumption, not saying he's coming from pockets, which appears to be a bar, right? Not having those crazy wild mood swings. I don't know, maybe he did a breathalyzer here. I doubt it. But just shutting up and shutting down would have left very little evidence for a DUI conviction. And then, because there's very little evidence for the DUI conviction, the prosecution is going to highlight that bottle of alcohol, right? Because that's the most tangible bit of evidence they have then. And now you get to jump up and down, right? Because of all those, as a defense attorney, because of all those mistakes the officers made. Whereas the officer still made that mistake, but sort of got overshadowed by some of those other things. The admission, the bar, perhaps an open cup. But even an open cup, they didn't test that alcohol. We can argue all day long. If you made a mistake on that bottle, isn't it reasonable to believe they also made a mistake on that cup? Right? And you can sort of, if you're a defense attorney, hang your whole case on, if you believe that, then you're giving the officers way too much credibility and you can never, there's not enough here to convict him on the DUI.
And Derek, I like how you put it too, with the overshadowing, his behavior overshadowing it. I can certainly understand his frustration. Hey, you told me that this was the reason. Now you're saying that you smelled marijuana. What happened to that? Now you're saying you smell alcohol. But at the same time, his anger towards them did overshadow that. Because as a prosecutor, I would have painted that as a mood swing.
Yep.
And, I think another interesting thing, too, is that train was rolling. Those police were looking for a DUI stop. The body cam, it looked like it was 2:30-ish in the morning. They see that they're looking for anything that's going to give them the grounds to arrest this man for a DUI. You just don't want to play into their hands.
Right. And I already know your comments from some people, like, he's allowed to say whatever he wants. That's not illegal. I get it, but give him enough rope. They can hang you with it, right?
Well, and why make it easier for the police? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to give them probably a C-, a D+. I agree with you. I don't know if it would have been a slam dunk, but he definitely could have done himself some more favors. Hey, I'm all for our First Amendment rights, but, let's make their job a little bit harder, to prove this DUI in court.
Yep, I could not agree with you more. And God bless the guy for standing up for him on the cannabis. I believe he proved his case on there.
Yep.
This is a perfect situation. You win the battle, but lose the war.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with the D also. How about the officers collectively?
I mean, I think I'll give them a C. I think one thing that I noted, they did stay relatively calm throughout that process, tried to read him the rights, all of that. That was commendable. I think that was a real big, either a rookie mistake at best, or if that was intentional, then that officer should be off the force.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a very, blurry line there, whether or not that was intentional or if she just didn't understand that they could maybe impound that alcohol. That's tough.
Yeah. I see it as probably intentional, but that's just a guess. I don't know, a judge watching this doesn't know for sure. Despite your comments, you don't know if it was intentional or not. All the people watching this. So I don't think they can prove that it's intentional. So I'm still going to give them a D though. If it is intentional, it's flat out F, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's planting, that's sort of, falsifying evidence, right? But a D nonetheless, because it is a mistake to open that. It is a mistake to lie, right? Or misrepresent the facts. I don't know. When you get one officer sort of, writing a report, the other one's actually doing the stuff, things can get lost in translation, but it is incumbent upon the officers to get it right, and they did not. Also, that cannabis smell seems to be wholly fabricated. Like it wasn't said in the beginning. It wasn't a line of question in the beginning. It was just kind of something that was inserted in there in order to try to bolster surprise, surprise, happened right around the time of arrest, right? So in order to bolster the probable cause for putting him in handcuffs. That is at best a D. I mean, really, this should probably be an F. All right, guys, there you have it. I think we did a pretty in-depth analysis. A lot of the stuff you may not agree with, but, it's kind of D's and F's for both parties here. It could have went different ways if everyone was a little bit more buttoned up and handled it, the way you would ideally see them handle it. And that's true for both the defendant and the police officers. Hope you learned a little bit. Thanks for watching.